This book claims to have the secret to a long and happy life.
But the book sucks. This episode won't, though.
This episode, we're going to shred the book.
But we will show you how the concept of Ikigai may still change your life. I'm Asher.
I'm Robert, and this is Learning to Live. Welcome back to episode 16. Now, this one we're going to get into the kind of hyper-viral, little bit of a sensational, big life purpose thing. This thing called Ikigai,
Yes.
which I've heard throughout the years, and it seems to be this kind of mysterious Japanese phrase that has something to do with some Venn diagram, that has
Right.
something to do with these 4 questions that are kind of at the intersection of all, you have meaning
Yes.
and eternal happiness.
This is the key to everything, apparently. This is what
Apparently.
we've been looking for the whole
Right.
time.
We should have done this episode 1, so
Right.
it seems.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Because coming off that trend is books like the one we have in front of us, Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life.
Yes.
And it sounds magical.
Right. We got it in Barnes & Noble because it's like just sitting there looking all pretty, right? I was like, oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Let me check that out. And then I was looking on Amazon, and this has like thousands of 5-star reviews.
People love it.
Yes.
This is it.
We found it. We found the book. So before we get into it, what is Ikigai?
Great question. Depends on who you ask. See, this book has a definition, potentially has 2 definitions if you look at the back of the book.
Right.
But there's also kind of competing definitions in Japanese culture. There's what we foreshadowed, this Venn diagram that went insanely viral for being the key to everything. And so we're going to break down these 3 themes and if it's actually something worth pursuing, worth listening to at all.
Right. So yeah, the book, they start off by kind of defining Ikigai as this loosely translated word to like the happiness of always being busy.
Yeah.
And then proceed to explain 1,000 different things that you should consider when living.
Yeah. This book gets into longevity and blue zones and yoga and tai chi and diet and exercise and community and what it's like to live in Okinawa and like pretty much touches everything across the book.
Right. And when you have a book that's like this
For
thick,
our audio only, that's like one of the thinner books you'll ever see, and
like
it's
an
tiny.
inch, less than an inch thick book.
Makes
yeah.
a question.
It's like, why, how? You know?
Yeah, and we're going to get into that because this book is highly acclaimed, but we took some serious issue with it. But before we touch on that, there's this difference between, it defines it as the love of being busy. In our own research, it seemed that it was a bit of a broader definition in Japanese culture, and it couldn't really be pinned down to just one thing.
Right.
It was more just kind of what you love to do every day. It's like what makes life worth living.
Yeah, it was interesting, and some of the research I think you were telling me about, it didn't seem like people in Japan are just going around like talking about their ikigais all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this big like thing. It's just a word that's used, I think, maybe similarly to how we would just talk about purpose.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about it is it does have maybe this more nuance of a holistic lifestyle. Or it just has maybe more of a gratitude for the little things in life. Now, in the West, Ikigai blew up in like 2011, I believe. And it happened because there was this Spanish author who had this Venn diagram, and we can show the Venn diagram in a second.
Yeah.
And it had like 4 key questions. And then somebody else just slapped the word Ikigai on it and like posted it on his blog one day, and like it took off as like,
That's
wow,
ridiculous.
this is the Japanese have figured out this concept when that wasn't part of it at all.
Right. Like people aren't in Japan going around with the Venn diagram like this is my Ikigai.
No.
Everyone doesn't have like a label with their Ikigai
Right.
on it. Like I guess like you were saying, the process of how you find it isn't like no one did that.
No, it wasn't like you follow this 10-step guide, or in
Right.
this case, this 4-question guide on how to
Right.
find your Ikigai.
Right.
Now, the book does have this Venn diagram on the back, and
And
we've written it down.
We replicated it for size purposes.
Yeah, so you can see.
check this thing out.
Beautiful job.
Thanks. I really spent way too long drawing this, and it doesn't. I mean,
It's hard to draw a quad diagram, Venn diagram. I don't know if that's the right term.
Yeah, I tried a strategy, but I think honestly, not bad.
Not bad.
Now it's just, can you read the handwriting? That's probably the harder part. But
so basically, the Venn diagram has 4 questions.
Right.
That intersect. And the intersection of all 4 is your Ikigai.
Right. And so there's kind of some other subcategories, given that it's a Venn diagram that has 4 different categories. So let's just run through the maybe high questions real quick. So we have what you love, what you like to do, obviously. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Sure.
What you're good at, what you can be paid for, and then what the world needs.
And at the middle of all these, if you can find the thing that you love, the thing you're good at, the thing that you can be paid for, and what the world needs,
Ikigai.
Ikigai, you found it.
So yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting because they have like some other subcategories. So for instance, I'll just go over those real quick. At the intersection of what you love and what you're good at, you have passion. Then what you love and what the world needs, you have mission. Then what you're good at and what you get paid for is your profession. And then what the world needs and what you can get paid for is vocation.
Right.
So interesting.
So almost like you can check off a few of these boxes and get close, but it's not until you
have
hit
all
everything.
4.
Now, here's my issue. And first of all, we can talk about this framework because I think it's really interesting and it brings up some good points.
I think it's a pretty good framework because I think a lot of times people who are unhappy in like jobs are probably
not checking one of these,
missing one of these 100%.
Boxes. And I think obviously if you can check all these boxes, you're doing what you love, you're good at it, you're getting paid for it, and it's like making this awesome impact on the world. Like,
surely you're there.
You found some deep meaning to life. And the book shows this Venn diagram in the first few pages.
Yeah, it's on the back too. So
and it's on the back.
When you're in Barnes & Noble and you're looking at the book, you flip to the back like, oh, that's an interesting framework. I hope they have some advice in here on how to help me fill it out.
Yeah. None. The rest of the book has nothing about the Venn diagram, has nothing about checking these boxes. I mean, one example of Ikigai is picking up this guy's Ikigai was picking up his grandchildren every day.
Right.
Tell me what 4 boxes that checks. But focusing on this kind of formula version first, thinking about your own life and trying to apply it, besides on what this book kind of goes on tangents, like, do you think that is the way to meaning, or is this kind of just too formulaic and missing maybe more deeper nuance?
I think it's like it is a helpful tool to maybe guide your decision making when you're in a place of like opportunity. So say you're going into college or trying to figure out your class schedule, and maybe you have some more time to figure things out, like do that, because that might help narrow down your options and figure out, okay, like if I have to pick a job, what job should I pick, right?
Right.
So in that sense, I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, is this what you need to fill out? Like, are you unhappy guaranteed without it? No. And I think that it's a dangerous trap that you could fall into if you believe that, oh, well, I don't have all these 4 things, that you are then just condemned to doom and despair. Like I feel like that is the problem with a lot of these, like you're saying, formulaic approaches, is that they just completely miss a lot of life.
Yeah.
So that would be my answers. It's helpful if you need guidance on maybe finding a direction, finding like a job category that you maybe want to be a part of, but it's not going to solve your problems. And it also is not required for you to be happy.
Right. I can see why it went super viral, because it gets at like, oh yeah, if I could check these boxes, obviously I think I would love what I do in my life. And so I get that. The issue is
maybe a little left hemispheric approach.
It might be a little left hemispheric. So go check out our Master and His Emissary series, because I think he would make a case against something like this. Now, the other core issue is this is, like we mentioned earlier, just not how people think about this in Japan.
Right.
Their Ikigai is not some like main calling that they figured out.
Yeah.
And this big, like, I found it.
Right.
It's the little things in life.
Right.
It's enjoying the food you're eating and the people you're spending your time with, and the little things that just make life worth living.
Right. It's not just one action or one job.
And if it doesn't check one of those boxes, that doesn't matter. That's not what it's about. It's like
you're not always going to be checking all four of those questions all of the time. So to assume that you have to do that to find there's just a big, I think, misconception, misunderstanding, and like a little bit too like sensationalized approach to our problems. And it makes sense. I mean, it's one of those like self-help book categories, so it's obviously going to have a lot of that, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, the other thing, and what I would argue is maybe the central focus of this book, is actually on longevity.
Right, which it is, like that. Like he's like, oh, let's talk about Ikigai, like happiness.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it does say a long life on there, but I was not anticipating most of it to be
really focused on.
Right, which presented a lot of really funny stories.
Yeah, which we will get into. Before we do, I will say, he kind of ties it back to, or the authors, I think it's co-authored, ties it back to Japan with this idea of blue zones and Okinawa being one of the blue zones, and people live a lot longer there, and so maybe there's something to learn about how we should be living our lives.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what blue zones are basically, there are 5 of them, and they're these areas where people seem to live a really long time.
Yeah.
And so the blue zones, there's Okinawa in Japan. I don't remember any of the rest of the cities, but there's one in Italy. There's one in California.
Yep.
There's one in
Greece.
And there's one.
Where's the last one?
It's in Costa Rica.
Okay. And so it's true that people live longer in these areas.
Right.
One issue is that we don't know why. And this book claims to know why, right? It promotes this blue zone diet. It promotes these different facets of life. The thing is, there's a lot of differences between the 5 blue zones.
Right, like their diets are different.
The climates are different. Right. And any study that's been done has kind of been contradictory to, this is actually effective. Now, that doesn't mean there's not something going on here. It's true that there's these 5 locations where people are living longer and seemingly happy. So there's something to learn, but this book does a lot of claiming and a very little evidence.
Yeah, and I think there's a similar probably complaints with the Blue Zone book, because there was kind of a popular book. I don't remember who wrote it, but they reference it a lot in here, and we saw it in some of our research. But that was another one of those like very sensationalized books. So
very silver bullet.
Right.
And again,
I mean, it's honestly on us at this point. We just
we got to pick better books.
We just keep picking up silver bullet after silver bullet.
Now, the other focus, aside from the blue zones, is on these super centaurians.
Yeah.
Centaurians, it's basically people who live past 100 or maybe past 110.
Past 110 is where you become super.
Yeah, so it's like the longest livers in our world, right?
Well said.
Thank you. And these authors focus on these people as what can we learn about how to live a long life from the people who live the longest.
Right.
Semi-intuitive.
Why don't we learn a little bit?
Let's learn
what the old people have to say.
All right. Our first health guru.
All right. One of the oldest living people ever.
Jean Calment. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She lived to 122 years old.
Wow.
Born in France in February 1875, Jean Calment lived until August 4th, 1997, making her, at 122, the oldest person of verified age in history. She died of natural causes at the end of a happy life during which she denied herself almost nothing. She rode a bicycle until she turned 100. She lived on her own until 110, when she agreed to move into a nursing home after accidentally starting a small fire in her apartment. Thanks for the detail. She stopped smoking at 120 when her cataracts started making it hard for her to bring a cigarette to her lips.
All right.
One of her secrets may have been her sense of humor. As she said on her 120th birthday, "I see badly, I hear badly, and I feel bad, but everything's fine."
All right, so what do we learn from that? What do we learn? All right, so clearly contradicting everything in this book. You can smoke. It doesn't matter. You just have to be kind of funny. Now, like, why are we including that? It defeats the entire purpose of the book. Like, they spend not that many pages trying to justify their argument, and they just completely counteract all of their like science and evidence and studies.
Hold on.
Okay. What do we have here? We have another one?
We have another one.
All right. Let's hear it.
Alexander Imich, 111 years old.
Okay.
Born in Poland in 1903, Alexander Imich was a chemist and parapsychologist residing in the United States, who after the death of his predecessor in 2014 became the oldest man of authenticated age in the world. He died shortly after, and he attributed his longevity to, among other things, never drinking alcohol.
Oh,
There's some health for you.
there you go.
It's not as though I'd won the Nobel Prize, he said upon being declared the world's oldest man. I never thought I'd get to be so old. When asked about his secret to living so long, his answer was, I don't know, I just haven't died yet. Bring it home with the wisdom.
Right. So, I mean, again, they're talking so much about this community that provides longevity and sleep and all of these important things. This guy doesn't know.
This guy doesn't know.
He has no purpose. He's just like, I don't know. I'm just here. I just haven't died.
And when I read this section, the thought that came to my mind was, obviously, there's 8 billion people on this planet.
Right.
There's going to be a handful of people who win the genetic lottery and just don't die for for longer than everyone else.
Right.
There's probably a section at the top of people who live to 90, like millions of people that we could learn from because they're taking care of their health.
Right.
But then there's going to be a few outliers.
Yeah.
And if just purely because they lived to 115 or 120, we look at them and we say, how'd you do it? And they said they smoked a pack a day. We should not take that advice.
Right.
That is clearly just variance.
Yeah, don't include that in the book. It's just, there is wisdom to say in these areas with the blue zones where they're defying, the genetic lottery because there's clearly
it's a
correlation
consistent pattern.
Yeah. It's not just one person.
Yeah.
So then why talk to the one person? Then why include their advice? Because it just feels like it just ruins the point.
And again, this focus on a long life under the guise of Ikigai just doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's about meaning. And I don't believe, the blue zone, they're obviously living long, but I don't believe they're going around thinking about how can I live the longest. They're just living like happy lives and they're enjoying life. And maybe that is the secret, but let's not focus on just anyone who lives a long time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that was super goofy.
But I do think it begs this question of, is longevity in the blue zones a proxy for fulfillment? Is it actually something that we can examine as, this community of people are living long and clearly they're living these happy and these very simple lives. Have they found the center of their Venn diagram?
Right. When I think about the Okinawa group, the blue zone there, when he talks about introducing them, they're like, maybe it's the fact that they're just like in a constant 74-degree climate and have this beautiful mountain and have all this land and all this abundance and fish and rice and vegetables and just lists off a ton of just like paradise qualities. Yeah. And then they also have this community that's really tight-knit and loves each other and has
active
roles and has all of these health factors and that's just built into their lives. And it's like, but like, is it their Ikigai? It's like, no.
No, it's all the other things you just listed.
You just gave all of the reasons. Like, there's no reason why I would see a group of people in the absence of like any health, like any threats or disease or any, like they don't have any interaction with anything dangerous ever. And they're just like living on this little utopia on an island and having a great time with each other. Like, I'm not surprised that they're living a longer than the average person. Yeah.
Now, it does get to this point because I think broadly we're dismissing this book's version of Ikigai. Right. A, because it just didn't make a lot of sense. It focused on a million different things. Yeah. It focuses on super centaurians for no reason. It gives the diagram but never talks about the diagram. Right? There's a million reasons, and we'll get into more of them because it's fun. But there is something about the Japanese concept that we've talked about, which is what seems to be happening in places like Okinawa, which is this tight-knit community, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, a lot of connection and gratitude. Yeah. And it's a simpler life. They're eating food that, they're either making or harvesting or catching out of the sea, and it's like they're enjoying it and seemingly,
and they get to play games with each other and like
deeply
do some
social
work. Yeah. And so,
and they have this meaning, right? They have this purpose in their community because they're contributing to the community, and everybody till old ages is working and helping out.
Yeah, you're needed.
Yeah.
You're needed by your peers.
Yeah, and that to me is drastically lacking in today's society.
Oh, for sure.
And so dismissing kind of maybe this approach to it, is that Ikigai what we should be striving for when we talk about meaning versus maybe the hyper self-help focus, individualized focus of the West, health biomarkers? I mean, they're not thinking about their biomarkers, right?
Yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying. And I think you're right. I mean, I think that when you look at these people who they don't probably think about themselves that much at all in the sense of, in the West over here, we created the Venn diagram. We created this like, this is how you do it for yourself. It's all about you and finding your thing. And it's unfortunate because it's easy to just blame like this Western way of thinking. But I feel that it's almost we're struggling with what we have, which is a society that does not allow us to live like they're living. And so we're trying to find ways around it. So I don't see it as like some Western failure to create this Ikigai framework. It's almost like we're trying to get somewhere, right? And it's not necessarily the fault of the people, because most people, you get a job, you're going to be at a desk, you're having a sedentary lifestyle. That's not good for you.
Yeah.
It's hard to eat good food. That's not good for you. It's hard to get enough sleep. That's not good for you. You're rarely spending enough time with other people. Even if you're working at a job that has at least some human interaction, like we are way more social than we realize. We're conditioned to believe like we're not, and that it's not normal. But I honestly believe that we are meant to spend 95% of probably our waking time with other people. Like that is how we're built. So,
and I think, we in the West, or just the society in general, have fully optimized for the wrong endpoints.
Right.
And it reminds me of this story that I heard of the Mexican fisherman. Let me take you down.
All right.
Story time.
I don't know if I've heard this one.
So there's this American who goes to this beach or pier in Mexico, and he sees a fisherman come back, and he just has a few really high quality fish that he caught. And the American's like, "How long did it take you to catch these fish?" It's like, "Oh, not too long, a couple of hours." It's like, why don't you fish more? He's like, "Oh, it takes care of my needs. It takes care of, my family. It's enough to eat. It's enough to sell a little bit and buy what we need." He's like, "Well, what do you do with your time?" And he's like, "Well, I spend it with my family. I sleep when I want to. I enjoy my life." And he's like, "But if you went out there and you fished for 8-10 hours, then you could come back and you could sell way more fish and make way more money." And the Mexican, he's like, and then what would I do? He's like, "Well, you could then hire somebody else to go fishing, and then you could make a business and grow it and expand." He's like, "And then what?" And then he's like, "And then you could start a franchise and make millions." He's like, "And then what?" And he's like, "Well, that's the best part. Then you get to retire and you get all this time." And he's like, "To do what?" "Well, to spend it with your family." And he's like, "That's what I'm doing the whole time." And it's like missing the point, right? And to me, that's kind of the West-East divide here, which is like,
that's hilarious.
We take, you could take an island like this where people are doing what it takes to get by. They're living with each other and loving their life. Apparently, obviously, we haven't been there, but seems a great place.
Yeah.
And we look at that and we say, well, you could be pursuing these business goals and you could be making more money. And we miss the point.
Yeah. No, that's a funny story. It's honestly so true, because we're constantly putting ourselves through like the opposite of what we're actually trying to achieve. And so, how do we get out of that? I don't know. I don't know right now. I think that's probably something that we're going to really try to get into on this podcast. I mean, I would say that this podcast is almost an attempt to get out of it ourselves.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And it's tricky, right? Because I think we also both want to have a high impact on the world.
Right.
And we think to ourselves, well, yeah, it would be great to get this knowledge for ourselves and maybe retreat into the woods and fish and live a happy life with a small community. But that doesn't address the problem that's happening for millions of other people.
Right.
And so for us, it's like, yes, we want to learn kind of the things we would like to point people towards, but also to have a high impact, it's hard to almost feels like being selfish, right?
Right. Yeah. No, we've talked about this before, just between each other, is that kind of like, it would be great to go live alone, or I don't think it would be that great, but like, to have a more monastic lifestyle or something more like what these guys have. Like, I think I could do just fine in there, but I also don't know if I would ever really buy into that, because of that in the back of my mind, that like, there's other people out there who are not getting this opportunity, who don't even know about this opportunity, and there's people exploiting other people all over the place, and it's the world is not set up right now for that to happen at all. So
definitely not at a mass scale.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
And so that presents a problem in itself. I mean, how do we in the world just, if that's what happiness and fulfillment really is, it's like, how do we make do now, or how is this even achievable, or are we just doomed, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if it has a clean answer. I mean,
the $1 trillion question.
It is the $1 trillion question.
Maybe
and if we can package the answer and sell it, we'll
in a really nice book with some nice graphs that we'll never talk about. There we go.
We've got it. Now, I mean, I like to believe that there is this increasing concern with the way we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think more and more people are unhappy with the way things are. That being said, all the money is going one direction.
Mm-hmm.
And something that, the Master and his Emissary, we've already talked about it a lot. The Master and his Emissary talks about happiness being the breadth and depth of your social connection.
Mm-hmm.
This book clearly points to community. A lot of, Eastern culture points to community.
Yeah.
We are so chronically online right now as a culture.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the answer is like getting back into the real world.
Yeah.
And being with each other in the real world. And somehow incentivizing that and creating environments that encourage that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like in practice. But
I mean, I will say that I've had a couple moments where during this podcast, we've been doing a lot of research on a lot of, not so great things, especially with like the internet. And you see it all the time in kids when you go to restaurants, and even in adults.
Sitting with the iPad in front of them.
Right, sitting with the iPad. And then in adults, like if you're ever on public transportation and everyone's just on their phone. Like, and on campus, you see it everywhere that there's clearly a problem. But I've gone lately to the nearby park I was inspired by your punishment for grounding, which
yes.
For those who don't know, watch next week's episode.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird to me to it was almost like a little shock. There were so many people there, just like playing and having fun. And I was like, wow. So maybe I was just inside too much. Like maybe a lot of other people are already out here doing this and already having fun. And there was, people sitting, laughing, like from high schoolers to old people. Like it was just a really nice, eye-opening experience. And then I had, similar things going to, like when we went to that wine tasting a couple, like last month. And then when we went to any other event, I mean, I've been to like some like live music events, and it's really cool to see people out there still doing things. Or I went to a run club and there was a couple hundred people there to go on a run on a Saturday morning. And so there is already, I think, a lot of that, but I also think that though there's a lot more of the opposite that you don't see when you go outside, because
they're not outside.
Right.
I think it goes to this point because we talk a lot about environmental design and the spread of just people and attributes, right? And you think about the environment we create. There's a percentage of the population that's going to have a really high proclivity to wanting to be outside and be social.
Nice word.
Thank you. And so it took a second, but I got it. And so that group of people, regardless of the environment we put them in, you're going to see them at the parks. And you're going to see them with family, and you're going to see them enjoying life. Then there's probably just the average person
Mm-hmm.
who, depending on the environment you put them in, kind of shapes their experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is very true of kids, especially.
Right.
Because they don't really have the wherewithal to try and break out of their environment.
Right.
And so what happens is when you design an algorithm on your phone to keep you addicted, and when you design food to keep you overweight,
Mm-hmm.
like there is the percentage of the population who will not be, just
Right.
because they have some genetic predisposition to being resistant to an environment like that.
Right.
And then there's the majority of us who will cave to whatever environment we're
Right.
put in. And then there's the people who, on the other end, who like they really need a good environment, or they have like a strong tendency to addiction or a strong tendency to isolation, and they could live a great life, but we'd really have to give them a strong environment.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like wherever we shift that central environment is where we're going to end up seeing the
Right.
majority of people live their lives.
Right. And it definitely feels like the trends are going away from the environment that's the outdoorsy,
Right.
fun play environment. And I like what you said there. And I think another consideration when we talk about the word environment, I honestly feel that environment can be very applicable to just your brain as an environment. So,
True.
and that's something that we don't really consider very much. And so I guess what I'm trying to say by that is if you're eating food that's like addictive food and you think that, oh, it's just because I live next to like this fast food place and that's why, like, that's my environment. But there's also the internal environment where it's almost like you are preferring to eat the food. So, and you're like getting addicted. So your brain's rewiring itself to want it. So that's also part of the environment as well. So it's like, if you can start to see that that doesn't have to be the case.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't realize that your brain can change and
Right.
what you want and like now can change. And so if you find that behaviors that you think are enjoyable, but that are actually harming you, to be able to see through and realize that there is an environmental shift that you can have. Now, it's a lot harder because, again, the environment, the external environment
Right.
is kind of applying this negative light onto our internal environments and reshaping us that way. That's where it's like, I think a lot of the self-help pull comes from for a lot of people is because they feel that their internal environments can hopefully break free regardless of the external environment. And I wonder how much it takes to break free of that external environment, because it seems like it takes a lot, because there's a reason why it's working and most people are stuck.
Right.
Versus in Okinawa, it's not like all those people are just absolutely mental fortresses. Like,
Exactly.
if you raised them at McDonald's,
They probably would not be living long lives.
Right.
And I guess this goes back to this difference in like a population view versus an individual view. Like any single individual theoretically can break out in some way of their environment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a population as a whole in a negative environment, it's the outliers who break out.
Mm-hmm.
And any one of them could be an outlier,
Mm-hmm.
but whoever it is will be an outlier and the majority won't.
Right.
And so this is like the tricky thing with self-help, because it is helpful to inspire people and move people towards the outlier.
Mm-hmm.
But it also puts a lot of onus on the individual.
Right.
And it doesn't fix an underlying problem, which will continue to cause a problem at the population level.
Yeah.
It just will.
Right. And it also, I think, does good and harm at the same time, because it allows people to maybe start to work on themselves a little bit, but it also shifts the focus a lot more to the self, which then has its own set of issues. And so, like you were saying, we need to, as a society, figure out how to shift in a direction to where people don't have to think about it, because the more that you think about yourself and how, oh, I need to be like this or that, then it just becomes so much more problematic in its own way. And you're going to miss out on a lot of life's meaning.
Yeah.
And because a lot of life's meaning is how we interact with others. And I think that's just a fact of the matter at this point.
Yeah. Another big part of this environment is not just the community, but it's the fact that being in a small local environment, a small local community, means that whatever you're contributing to the community is felt on a community level.
Right.
Which then rebounds back to you feeling like you're making a sizable impact and you're an important piece of the community you're a part of. And we know through various studies that feeling important and feeling this sense of purpose is crucial to feeling fulfilled in life. And it doesn't have to be this grand what the world needs. Importance can come from, I know my neighbors rely on me for this task and I do it and they get this joy out of it, right? It can be a small thing.
Right.
The issue is that doesn't really exist in the big corporate world in the US. And furthermore, it seems to be an increasing problem because as more and more technology replaces the need for humans, as we're seeing with AI, as we're seeing with robots, like we understand that we're not this important part of Western civilization. And it starts to be, I think, young people now feel less important than they ever have.
Yeah. I definitely think this is a big one for the youngins out there.
Yeah.
Like our age as well, because I do feel that whenever you have kids, you all of a sudden have a very large sense of importance in most cases because they rely on you heavily and there's a lot of biology going on there. So like you're set usually. Now it's hard when in most of our jobs, they don't feel super important because I would say most people feel like it's rare that they're like, if they don't get this one thing done, that it's like has a drastic negative consequence that's like relatable for them.
Yeah. Or they're contributing to a company whose goals have no alignment with either people flourishing or
like
any positive impact on their immediate loved ones.
Think of anyone who works in the cigarette and vape production industry.
Right.
Like surely they're not going, like I mean, when they're at work, the work they do, surely there's not like a grand sense of importance there. It's probably more about the paycheck to then maybe provide for a family. Now, that's for the family part. It has nothing to do with the job part. So it's hard because these long-lived individuals, I feel like, have a pretty deep, constant sense of purpose. And there's never like a questioning of it. Like they kind of know their role and they have their friends and community and they can play games and do the work to keep everyone alive and well. And that's awesome for them. But I mean, most of the time for us, we don't feel like there's a difference between importance on like you did a good job today at work versus like you helped keep me alive or you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that they all need each other. If like one person died, they're not all just gonna die, but you know, I feel like it's different.
Yeah. I think there is a difference, like you're saying, about this deeper importance of like somebody relying on me. Not from a sense of, I need you to get this task done and this ladders up to some goal that I have zero connection with or alignment in my own life. Like you said, that can be the paycheck to raise the family, but oftentimes it's just the paycheck and you're left at the end of the day not feeling that. And then there's a difference between that and saying, you know, I'm going to do this and I see that John is thankful for me because I just brought him this fish that I got out of the river and then he's going to give me this thing and like then we're going to like spend social time together. It's like a very different, because you're more in tune with the impact.
Right. And I also think that another key difference is that you're not just more in tune with it, but it's also feeling important towards people who you care about and that you're connected to. And so even if you're making, I would say, now I've never done this, but I would say that if someone had a button to like feed 1 million people who are starving and they press that button, they're probably going to get a less sense of fulfillment than someone who like brings food 100%. To one person who's starving.
100%. I mean, we talked about this of like, this is a known thing that whether it's a bug or a feature, we strive off of connection. And so, they've done the study where they've shown somebody, a newspaper heading saying these thousands of people are dying, will you donate? Versus saying this one girl in this community is starving, will you donate to help save her life? And so many more people donate when they know the story of just the one person.
Yeah.
And it goes back because we're wired for community and small community.
Yeah. And individuals, we have very personal connections with people. So, yeah.
So what do we do about it?
Right. So, yeah, where does that leave us?
I think one thing that's kind of at the premise of the podcast and the root of this phase in our life of trying to learn is this understanding that awareness is one of the most important keys to actually changing behavior and changing a situation. Because without awareness of what's going on, it's very difficult to make efficient and necessary changes. So our goal is the more that we're having a conversation like this, and the more people we can get on board having conversations like this, there's an increased awareness which ladders up to behavior change. Now, en masse, like trajectory-wise, it'd be awesome if we could build communities and we could do things that get people in the real world and get people contributing to. It's hard to see like that impact right away.
Yeah. I would say, I guess maybe on the individual scale, another thing to do is, I read this in like the 7 Habits of Being a Successful Person, where he's talking about a lot of how our emotion follows action and vice versa, but it can go in that direction. So his advice that he gave someone, I think it was like some husband who's like, I've kind of fallen out of love with my like wife. Like, what do I do? And he's like, well, just love her. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, I don't have that emotion. Like, well, love her. Like there's things you do when you love someone, you go above and beyond to like make them feel special, and you bring them things and you take care of them and you like sacrifice for them. It's like, if you do those things, you will have that emotion again, almost in a way. And it like worked. And so and I know Dr. K has talked a lot about this with even the breathing. It's like whenever you can breathe a certain way, it can start to change how your body's actually emotionally responding to different things. So I guess when you can shift your focus to finding that importance in people around you and seeing it, because we can often become blind to how we actually are impacting those around us. So, if you have a significant other or like a family member, and I'm sure if you did something really nice and helpful for them and something useful and they were like showing a lot of gratitude, I feel like the more you do that, the more you'll see that result and actually feel a lot better. And so stop looking for fulfillment in the disconnected numbers game of life and instead on the people around you.
Yeah.
By doing actions, and over time, I think that'll probably be able to at least really level up that part of your life, even if you can't get out of the job at work or whatever it is that's kind of holding you back on the grander scale.
Yeah, like focus on the behaviors that make up the emotion at the top.
Right.
And,
yeah, exactly.
And the emotion will almost manifest
it's like
you're
like building the foundations of it, and the more you do that, and the less you again focus on yourself. So I think that is maybe a little tidbit of something to try. But
yeah.
Are we ready to shred this book?
Yeah, this book sucks. So not only does it focus on longevity in this sense that makes zero sense, it also is just lacking any evidence of anything whatsoever.
For how much this book claims, the source is like 4 pages long. And like, what is that? Like, you are claiming so much.
Well, here it does provide some helpful tables.
Okay. So what's the context here? What are we breaking down?
Throughout this book, a repeating theme is a 2-column table that has 2 concepts it's talking about. And the example I'll give is the left column is concentrating on a single task versus the right column is multitasking.
Okay.
So like, which one should you be doing?
Right. Okay.
Because it's saying,
what are the differences?
Giving tips.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll read out the left column first and then the right column.
Okay.
Concentrating on a single task makes achieving flow more likely. Multitasking makes achieving flow impossible.
Okay.
Let's keep going. Concentrating increases productivity. Multitasking decreases productivity by 60%, though it doesn't seem to.
60%? What does that even mean? Like, where does that, moving on.
Yeah. Concentrating increases our power of retention. Multitasking makes it harder to remember things. Concentrating makes us less likely to make mistakes. Multitasking makes us more likely to make mistakes. This is just blowing my mind right now.
I would have never gotten there.
Concentrating helps us feel calm and in control of the task at hand. Multitasking makes us feel stressed by the sensation that we're losing control, that our tasks are controlling us. Concentrating causes us to become more considerate as we pay full attention to those around us. Multitasking causes us to hurt those around us through our addiction to stimuli. Concentrating increases creativity. Multitasking reduces creativity. Just tell me. Just like,
surely we could have just had one of those columns, right?
Why do we need both columns? They're just opposites.
Right.
A, they're opposites. B, they're just claims that have no backing.
Yeah.
Like, do I believe it? Maybe. Sure.
Right.
I can see an argument. Show me some evidence.
A lot of people probably would argue against it.
Yeah. And
exists.
it's like, you're just going to say, oh, concentrating increases creativity. Multitasking decreases creativity.
And it's like most people, it's like, okay, so you're saying that I'm decreasing my productivity by 60% if I multitask? Like, what does that even, like, 60% of what? Like, if I'm on the phone with someone and doing laundry, it just feels like I'm hitting two birds with one stone here. It's not like I'm doing 60% less laundry.
Right.
Like, what?
Now,
I've
heard 60%? That multitasking isn't efficient.
Right, especially
if you,
right. If you're like doing a focus intensive task,
right.
Sure.
But if you're gonna, first of all, if you're gonna waste half a page with a chart that says absolutely nothing but these two things are opposites.
That's like not even how you're supposed to use a table.
No.
Like that's not even what tables are for.
No. It's irrelevant information if you're just gonna say they're the opposite in every way.
And especially when, it's just the exact negation of the other thing.
Yeah.
It's not even like
there's no nuance.
It's not even like there was 5 options and this one was option A and this one was option C. No, it's just
this is
A and not A. Like, and there's a lot of those tables.
It would literally be if you went down a table and be like, this is row A and this is not A.
Yeah.
This is B, this is not B. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing?
Right. And there's a lot of those in
There's
there.
a lot.
That's
so
one
that takes
thing.
up way too much of a book that's already too short.
Yeah, right. And we've talked about some of the issues we've had with their stories with the super Centaurians or whatever, but there was another couple stories in there that are just like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so one of them, and this is when he's talking about Viktor Frankl in this chapter on like depression and psychoanalysis and logotherapy and just like
the Viktor Frankl bucket.
Yeah, and
of Ikigai, which what
the connection was loose off the rip,
right?
But he gives these little case studies of people that worked with Viktor Frankl as evidence of Ikigai. Oh. Right? Case study, the grief-stricken doctor. An elderly doctor, unable to overcome the deep depression into which he'd fallen after the death of his wife 2 years earlier, went to Frankl for help. Instead of giving him advice or analyzing his condition, Frankl asked him what would have happened if he had been the one who died first. The doctor, horrified, answered that it would have been terrible for his poor wife, that she would have suffered tremendously. To which Frankl responded, "You see, doctor, you have spared her all that suffering, but the price you have to pay for this is to survive and mourn her." The doctor didn't say another word. He left Frankl's office in peace after taking the therapist's hand in his own. He was able to tolerate the pain in place of his beloved wife. His life had been given a purpose. Like, really?
I mean, what do you mean given a purpose? His purpose was to just suffer, so she didn't have to.
And I'll say, I get the gist.
Right.
I get what it's trying to say.
Yes.
It's kind of this beautiful perspective reframe. I'm
right.
suffering. if it was the other way
Right,
around.
like, stop thinking about what you lost. Think about,
Yeah.
how it would have been.
But first of all, to simplify deep depression and mental health in a story like that,
Like he just fixed it in one sentence.
there you go. You're good. Oh, Doc, I never thought of it that way. To me,
It's like, sad. Don't be sad. Whoa.
not only is it that the vibe, but it's also like, how is that Ikigai?
Right. Like, why are we
What?
talking about? Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, are we just saying anything that makes somebody happy is Ikigai?
That's what the book felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, maybe we can hold this up to the camera so you can see. There's like a bunch of instructions on how to do different Tai Chi moves. And it's
Let's.
right. So now that's how to do imitate Cloud, which I guess is a Tai Chi way of becoming like
Which
Cloud. Which
I'm
is
sure has some benefit.
right.
But a one pager in a book on
Right.
Ikigai, which is just like
It's like
throws it in there.
yeah.
As if they just like compiled a list of all the cool things they learned in Japan
Yeah.
and said, we're just going to give all of this the term Ikigai and then do with it what you will.
Right. And there's also like a list of a whole bunch of different types of yoga with just like a one sentence summaries. It's like,
What do we do with
why,
that?
Why? It's like, oh, I read that. Oh, maybe I should check. Like there's so much more depth to these concepts.
It's like this book sucks and it was too short.
Yeah. Right. It's like a trade-off. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have wanted to read
Right.
more of it, but at the same time, that is a problem.
So, but now here's the thing. Thousands of people love this book.
right.
Are we just haters? Like, what?
Right.
Like, are we missing something?
Like
I thought this
I
was
don't-
so simplistic and terrible.
right. Like I don't know, maybe we're just the wrong audience. Maybe for someone who hasn't really ever thought about these types of things before, it could be helpful. Maybe someone who's like not super into sources and like evidence, which I mean that sounds bad, but it's like there's some
If you're
level-
watching this right now and you like the book, we're just maybe for someone who just is kind of like stupid and doesn't.
no. Man, yeah, no. They're not stupid. But
It just doesn't make sense.
Maybe that's why we'll never find our Ikigais. Is because we're too caught up in
We're just complaining.
we're just complaining
I mean,
about a book that just
I will say, when I read this book for the first time, I was very excited to read it.
yeah.
I
had
thought this
high hopes.
a beautiful little cover like this,
Yeah.
a small little like the Japanese style. I was like, oh, this is gonna cure everything.
Right.
And it was so disappointing that I don't feel like I was biased for it to be a bad read.
There's a lot of stuff that I do like and agree with in the book.
Yes.
And now that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that we disagree with everything this book says. The book recommends getting 7+ hours of sleep, moving constantly, not living a sedentary life, eating healthy whole foods, fruits and vegetables. And so it has a lot of advice that like if you do want a pretty high level overview of things that you should consider doing in your day-to-day life, go for it. Now, I just
it doesn't really give you
No.
compelling reasons to do it. It doesn't give you evidence behind it, and it doesn't. And there's certain sections like the Super Centaurians that just make no sense.
There's a lot
to
of
me.
things that throw you off
Yeah.
as you're going through it, where
Yeah.
just the presentation style of it just really made me a non-believer.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, I was looking on Amazon to see what the reviews were, and it was overwhelmingly positive, but we're like, surely
someone
there's
hated this
a
like us.
person who hated this. So this book has a 4.5 star review on Amazon for 67,000 ratings. 67,000 ratings.
Maybe we should just shut up and start writing books like this. Holy,
Yeah,
that's
what?
amazing. The multi-million copy international bestseller.
All right.
Holy, they
So-
made so much money off of this.
So surely someone else out there had a complaint. So here we go. This is from Aloe Jeans. I have
Okay.
no clue how to say that name. All right. On Amazon reviews. I strained my eye sockets rolling my eyes while reading this book. Honestly, you get more value out of reading one of the free magazines at the entrance of Whole Foods. You may not learn anything, but you also not have to spend any money to not learn anything. The most valuable thing I gained from this book was the Venn diagram on the back cover, and that isn't even original. It's someone else's diagram, screen capture, and print it out. The rest of the book is basically saying you need an Ikigai. We met some people who are old. We like Japanese culture. Here's some possibly related behaviors. Don't worry about genetics or anything scientifically proven. We have anecdotes. Some are related. Some will just appeal to your emotions. Oh, here are some other Asian activities that may or may not be related to living a long time. By the way, I know we're supposed to be talking about Ikigai, but we're more interested in living a long time, so we're going to focus on longevity for most of the book. Here are some quotes from other books because we don't have any original thoughts of our own. Here's a list of things you should do that someone else came up with. If you love platitudes and have no real substance behind them, if you've been known to join a cult or two in your life, if you're easily swayed by broad statements with anecdotal evidence, basically, if you're incapable of choosing any path at all in your life and want someone else to point to you in about 20 directions you can go, you'll love this book.
They did a phenomenal job with that review.
Right. 183 pages. This goes on. 183 pages of this book. We get to one of the most maddening statements that perfectly summarizes the whole book. There is no perfect strategy to connecting with our Ikigai, but what we learned from the Okinawans is that we should not worry too much about finding it. Really? Then what was the purpose of this book? Life, and then here's another quote from the book. Life is not a problem to be solved, which he says, great, then we don't need any self-help books at all. Let's just eliminate the category of books altogether. Then back to the quotes, just remember to have something that keeps you busy while you love being surrounded by the people who love you. Then his thoughts on that. Did you seriously not know this before reading the book? Did you believe you were a prisoner to not doing anything at all or doing things you hate around the people who despise you? What an utter waste of time this book was. Please don't waste yours.
I mean, that is a scorching review. The fact that the person took the time to write this,
yeah,
you gotta give it up. I mean, that's impressive. Couldn't say it better myself. I mean, it hits on in maybe a more extreme way a lot of what we have gripes with.
Right, which the sentence which he says, it's not about connecting with your Ikigai, just it doesn't really matter. Don't try too hard to find.
Okay, what? This book, like what I like about the review is like, here's a ton of behaviors that might help.
Right.
Maybe. It's like, okay.
Here's some stuff that was cool that some people are doing that work for them. But then it's like on the other side of the globe, there's a whole bunch of people doing something very different that's working in the exact same way. So it's like that clearly doesn't really matter. And so, I mean,
this is our first book for the podcast that we've read and been thoroughly disappointed with.
Yeah, like this was a big letdown.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe we should have guessed that given that it's a very small book.
But it's a multi-million copy bestseller. Like, right. I would think that all the positive reviews would have gave it some, like credibility.
Yeah,
here.
I don't even want to read the positive reviews on that book. I'm sure they'll all just be like, "Oh, great book.
Yeah,
changed my life."
Did it?
No.
Did it?
No.
And hey, if like you picked up the book and just read the Venn diagram and like found your passion, good for you. But
right.
You didn't need the other 200 pages.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it has good intentions, but I also feel that it's almost scammy, and it's just not a good book. Like it's not well structured. It's not it's a poor argument.
Yeah.
It's an abysmal argument.
It's
terrible. I would say you don't even need a counter argument. They supply that themselves.
Yeah.
Without re-countering the argument ever.
Right. It's also just like there's so much like feels like page filling.
Yeah. Such like the tables.
Like the tables.
Whatever.
Anyway.
So that's Ikigai, I guess.
That's Ikigai. I feel like if we just throw out the book and actually focus on like some of the points that they brought up of community, of the little things, the gratitude that we talked about in this episode, the importance, that's what it's about.
Right.
So just focus on that.
Right. And we told you that on a couple episodes ago. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I feel like I learned zero new things from this book.
Yeah.
There was no interesting aha moment. It just took a whole bunch of things that you already kind of know and reset them without anything new to contribute.
A lot of people have spent a lot more time thinking through a book's on meaning than this book has.
Yes. You could have ChatGPT or Claude whip up a better summary that takes you 3 minutes to read that you get the exact amount of value out of than that book. Probably more.
Yeah. So I guess we're in the vocal minority here of haters, but we got it. I mean, it's our opinion. We're gonna give it.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting it to be this bad. And
we really wanted it to be good.
We did. We've loved all the books we've read
Yeah.
so far. I mean, we've had critiques, but nothing like this.
Yeah. So I guess in summary, I would say the Venn diagram's a cool tool if you are lacking direction or you're thinking about making a change. You want to find something that works for you, but also don't put too much stake.
And it's not what actual Ikigai is.
And it has nothing to do with Ikigai. Ikigai, still don't really know exactly what we've honed in on the definition for, but it seems to be something along the lines of enjoying being alive all the time, which has nothing to do with most of what the book has to talk about as far as like all the habits and stuff.
Right.
It's more of like a gratitude. And having a holistic lifestyle means that you're probably going to live longer. Shocker.
And if you want to live to 120, start smoking. So.
Right. Don't take that advice.
No, don't take that
That was not medically approved advice. But
anyways, next week we're going to be getting back to the challenges we've been doing. It's going to be exciting because we've been recording all of our progress this time.
The documentation is in full.
So we will be going over how successful we were, how life-changing these challenges were. And then we will be going kind of mapping out the game plan for what's to come with all of our challenges going forward.
Yeah. So that should be exciting. So tune in next week and watch us maybe have to draw from the punishment pot. We shall see.
We shall see. If you like this episode, give it a like, give it a subscribe. Why not?
Join the team. If you don't like the book, give it a like. Give us a like.
And if you love the book and hate the episode,
give us a like. Give us a like.
It's fun still. We're just having a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's free for you, and it makes us happy. So maybe it's our Ikigais.
Watching.
No, that's sad. Yeah, so thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.